game. Felt like a boxing match out there, 10 rounder. We kind of knew it was going to be that way. Got great respect, obviously, for Coach Izzo and their team. And then watching them the last two games leading into this one against Nebraska, against Wisconsin, I thought they were really hitting on all cylinders and getting a lot out of his team. And obviously they've got good players. And so we knew it was going to be a great challenge. I thought that they set the tone to start both halves, and I really did. And then I thought our resiliency, we were able to respond and fight through the rest of the first half a little bit, and obviously the rest of the second half. Our defense stepped up for us when we needed it to. Obviously we were a little disappointed going into halftime. We were up 10 there, and we don't stop Bridges from getting to the basket. He gets a layup when we should have taken the ball there. The ball's the most important thing. I always tell him that we left the ball, and then had a hiccup on the inbound pass, and all of a sudden now it's 6, and it could have been 8 to 10 if we had taken care of our business there. And then we start the second half, and we missed some shots. I thought we had some pretty good ones. But I thought they would really impose their will to start the second half. And they get up 45-43, and then our kids showed some resiliency again and really started to not only get stops and compete on the backboard, but I thought our execution of our sets and ATOs and different things that we were running needed to be on point because every possession mattered. And Finke made a big shot on an action, and we got downhill a couple times on some drives, and J. Cole made a big shot on an action, and so all those little things, the screens, the precision of those things really matter in a close game like that. So I thought our attention to detail was pretty good down the stretch, and then obviously we had a couple big stops late, and that was a good win for our team. I just told them I wanted to obviously enjoy it and see their families, and I always tell you guys, I don't always leave them with make sure your families pay for dinner in college. You want the free meal, and then get their butts to bed. Because we got an early tip on Saturday against Rutgers, a quick turnaround, and we've got to make sure that we have the same will to prepare that we've had here lately over the next 2 days leading into Saturday's game. Questions?
Coach, you turned 15 turnovers to 18 points tonight. How much of an impact did it have on finishing the game? How did that play into it?
Well, I thought obviously it had an impact. 18 points is a lot. They won the rebound battle. I thought we were competitive there, but we were able to win the turnover battle and offset that a little bit. Took pretty good care of the ball. Obviously, Hill and Abrams at 8-0. You're gonna take that for sure. Thought those guys made guys better, made good decisions. But I thought it was influential, for sure. And we were able to capitalize on that a little bit. I thought Lucas's on-ball defense was, his stat line doesn't look like, you look at it, it's not overly impressive, but I don't think the box score really tells the story about what he meant to our team on the defensive end tonight.
Coach, Tracy, Mapp, and Malcolm all said this was a top 3 emotional moment for them. This game was one of the best, that they've had here. For you, in terms of the emotions, especially in this building, where does this sit?
Well, first of all, our crowd was unbelievable. I think it was Top or Jeremy. Tough things you asked. Could the crowd? Was that yesterday? And I thought the crowd was great. They were terrific. So hats off to the Orange Crush and the students gobbling up the tickets and the fans coming out for a late night game to really, I hope, show some respect for those seniors, and we're just very thankful and grateful that they did that for those guys. That made it a special night. But yeah, it was obviously it was a high level game. There was a lot of emotion, both ways. It's kind of the way this time of year. But it's pretty cool when you're still playing for something. Not everybody gets to do that. So we just feel like it's a real privilege. I know those guys do that just were up here. Our other seniors do as well. I'm proud of those guys. They've weathered a lot over the course of the time that we've been together. You get a little bit of the good and a little bit of the bad sometimes, and it's pretty neat to watch them mature and grow as people. and to watch them fight like they have, especially over the last month or so. I hope more than anything it teaches them in life that you need to, you got to fight. And so, proud of those guys. But I can see where they would say that. At the end of the day, it was a great game, and we just made a few more plays there at the end. It really could have went either way.
When Kenny Goings was in and you had that matchup with Maverick to get the ball inside there, and how much did your early threes sort of prevent them from giving you much help and help that continue?
Well, technically it's possible. We might play them again, so I'm not going to, divulge everything. But, obviously we feel comfortable throwing the ball inside, to Mav, regardless. It's been a big part of our team, and he's really done a great job down there being patient. I thought he was certainly a factor. And then, like you said, he scored a few times, and then he had some inside-out action where he passed it out, and our guys made some shots. So now that kind of puts you in a dilemma. But Ward puts you in the same dilemma for their team. He's a terrific player down in the interior on offense.
John, Laurent Black's been shooting a couple more threes. When did he get the full green light, and what do you think of his performance from there recently?
I don't know if he's been given the full green light, but he doesn't know any better. He's been shooting the ball really well, Jeremy, in practice, and obviously he's been shooting more threes and has made 1 for 4 in games, 1 for 3. I think he had maybe a 2 for 6. He's getting more and more comfortable doing it, and he's been doing it in practice for a long time. But I really believe, my friend Clark Kellogg used to say to me when I coached his boys, your ultimate confidence comes from, doing it in the game, Jeremy. So to see it go in the game, I think, is a little different. And obviously, if his ability to do that, Finke's ability to do that, Kipper's ability to do that when they play up front for us, that really opens up the floor.
Tracy said that you haven't changed emotionally throughout the season, and that's what you always tell us, but a lot has changed for you in the last few games, whether you know it or not, whether you want to talk about it or not.
Not really. I don't want to talk about it. For me, Tracy's right. I try to, be the same all the time. I think that's important. I really do. We bring it every day. We fight for what we want every day. We continue to keep getting better. We've kept swinging. So I really, he's right. I get up in the morning. I usually do devotions, and I go get my Starbucks coffee, and I know the name of every barista that works over there, and I do it every morning. And it doesn't matter win, lose, draw, and I'm in there. And you'd have to ask them. They'd probably tell you my disposition isn't much different every day either. Work, we try to figure things out and try to get better. Tracy's been that way too, though. The upperclassmen have really been that way, especially here lately. They've been bringing it every day. And I've really challenged them to leave a legacy and to teach, AJ, DJ, J. Cole, Tijon, Laron, Fink, Kipper, this is how we practice, this is how we compete. What legacy are you leaving these guys with? Are you showing them how we do things? Not just saying it, showing them. And they've really taken that challenge to heart, and I think over the last month they've really been good with that.
Just a few short weeks ago, it was 3-8, 4-9. Can you point to anything to where things changed for this team? A game like this tonight, the team may not have won a month ago. Is there anything in your mind you've seen that one thing that maybe has changed this team?
Obviously, we've gotten a little bit of momentum. A friend of mine and I were down in the locker room after the game talking about that. That helps, mentally, especially for the guys. But we really haven't changed a whole lot. We've just gotten better at what we do. Now, a couple of the young guys have started to figure some things out. Tijon and Kipper. When you're a young guy, your improvement gets accelerated a little bit in terms of the gap of difference between where they were in October and November versus, let's say, now. That's massive. For the older guys, they've just kind of stuck with it, and they've continued to believe in each other. And And Tracy's such a good voice in the locker room because he knows kind of most of the time he could probably finish my sentences. So I feel very comfortable with the message that he's giving those guys.
You've gone with this 8-man rotation and stuck with it for a few weeks now. Just what it is about that group, maybe where any combination of 5 you can get what you're looking for.
Yeah, obviously it's been good for us. We've got great kids. I wish I could play all 17 of them. That's not realistic. Our team shaped up maybe a little differently than what we thought it would look like at the beginning. We've had to adapt and adjust and tinker and push buttons and we've gotten to the point where we feel comfortable with that rotation. But I've told all those other guys, we've got some guys with experience right now that aren't playing. They're pretty good players. So it's be ready. J. Cole goes down with an ankle injury against, help me out, KV, was at Northwestern here at home.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, Aaron Jordan, boom, 10 minutes. We play at Iowa, Jalen Tate, bam, 10 minutes. So those guys have got to be ready to go when called upon. And they have worked, the guys even that aren't in the rotation. I had a coach in the other day watching practice, and he's like, holy cow, did those guys go hard. We had some of the guys that played a little bit less or didn't play at all get extra work in the other day. And their attitudes have been tremendous, and that's not easy to do if you're them. But they're choosing to have that type of attitude and give that type of effort, and that's certainly helped our team. Yeah.
Would they tell us your secret formula?
They might.
Would they say that you're a good tipper?
I don't know, Rob. That's a great question. That's a great question.
Scott.
That's a great question.
A week or so ago, you talked about JCL, maybe doing what he does well and staying in that lane. But just have you seen where he's able to fill in some other areas when he's not always knocking down threes?
Yeah, tonight obviously he made 2 out of 5, and they were big ones. Defensively, we've continued to challenge him to become a good defender. He's taken care of the ball better as the years went on, I think, and is becoming more and more comfortable there. And he's a big part of what we do. I mean, he's huge, So when you're playing, like you mentioned, Scott, 8 guys, the number of minutes, those guys are all playing double-figure minutes and beyond. So they've all got to be ready that are in that rotation. I thought he was ready tonight and made some big plays for us.